is Emmanuel from MGM Abogados Consultores, immigration attorney based out of Santiago, Dominican Republic. Today we're going to talk about the pathways to obtaining a green card, and in specific the process of the adjustment of status. The adjustment of status process is where the beneficiary is inside of the United States and they're going to change the immigration status from non-immigrant to a green card holder. We know that USCIS checks the legitimacy of the relationship in order to give out these benefits, but in the adjustment of status process, they're not only going to be focused on the relationship, but also they're going to focus if the beneficiary is actually eligible to receive this immigrant benefit, which means that this process has rules and exceptions. The first rule to this process is being inspected and admitted into the United States, which means that you legally entered the United States. The second rule is being lawfully present inside the United States. When you go through the Department of Immigration, the immigration inspector is going to seal your passport and is going to write up to what date you are legally present in the United States. Now, if this date expires, but you're going to request this benefit through an immediate relative that's a U.S. citizen, this rule won't apply to you. The Immigration and Nationality Act is the federal law of the United States that rules immigration, and it details more than 40 pathways to adjusting the status, right? Like the one mentioned before, being an immediate relative to a U.S. citizen, entering the United States under a K-1 visa, which means you're a fiance of a U.S. citizen, a widow of a U.S. citizen, being an asylum in the United States can adjust your status, being an immigrant entrepreneur, just to name a few of the pathways. I want to be clear, not all visas are subject to this process. Some of them won't be able to do this process, but like I said before, you have to check the file and make sure that this person is actually eligible. You could present this this adjustment status in two different ways. You could either wait till your I-130 is approved and include it with your I-845, or you could just submit everything together. Just know that at the moment that you submit that I-445, you're not only going to submit that form, you're also going to submit that I-864, which is that economic support, the affidavit of support. You're also going to submit the medical exam by a clinic recognized by USCIS. On the USCIS webpage, which I'm going to leave the link below, is going to give you a list of all the clinics that are recognized by them in each state. Most of the time in the consultations for this process, I receive the same questions. Most of the time is, where should I get married? Well, this is not going to affect your process in any way. You can get married in your country, like you can get married in the United States. I usually tell them get married in the United States. It makes more sense like that. I also get asked if they can travel outside of the United States while waiting for this process. You can travel as long as you submit the I-131, which is the advanced parole form. If you travel without the advanced parole, they're going to understand that you are abandoning the process. I also get asked if they can work while they're waiting for this application to be processed. And the answer is yeah. When you're going to submit the adjustment of status, you're also going to submit the employment authorization, which is the I-765. In order to, throughout this this process, you're going to be having temporary documents until the day that you go be in front of a USCIS officer, because you are going to have an appointment in front of your USCIS officer at a USCIS office. I suggest that this process is done very meticulously because there's a lot of requirements by the immigration authorities. I hope that this video was actually useful. Any questions, please feel free to leave them at the comments. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook at MGM Abogados Consultores, and the phone number of the office is 809-382-8867. The WhatsApp number is 829-983-7982. Thank you.